No, 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 no. Sit your fanny down, Fanny. You're not out of the woods yet. It's Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. I'm Stuart Allister.
We've got an update now, Phil, from the judge. This just in, overseeing efforts to disqualify Fani Willis from the Georgia election interference case. That judge, we have just learned, has issued an order, Phil, allowing Trump and 8 co-defendants to seek appeal of the order denying disqualification of Willis. The Georgia Court of Appeals has 45 days to decide whether they will hear the case. That's obviously big news, Phil. Your reaction?
Yeah, it is big, and it's something that we've been following, of course, very closely here in the Atlanta area. The judge's order that's being appealed, in my opinion, is wrong. I think that he found, for example, that Willis wrongfully engaged in communications outside the courtroom. Basically, she went into the well of a church on Sunday, and she essentially called some of the defendants and their counsels racist, right? And
it goes beyond that. That's like one level. She said she was on a mission from God. Number one, she didn't just go to one church. She went to a couple. She said she was on a mission from God. God told her to prosecute Donald Trump. What does that do to the jury pool? That's first. Then second, this notion that they only used cash, and since we can't trace it, we don't know whether or not she was telling the truth or not. And by the way, MCAFEE said, well, you know, we're just going to allow her to stay. But by the way, for those of you who think, no, Stu, that's not what happened. He gave her a choice. You know, you can either, step aside or allow, Nathan Wade to take the case. It's like, you haven't been paying attention. You've been sitting at the back of the class falling asleep. There was no way in hell she was ever going to step aside. The very fact that he gave her that out tells you everything. Okay? The very fact that they used cash tells you everything about their transactions. They didn't want it traced. By the way, one of the biggest damning pieces of evidence that wasn't, put in, evidence. Why won't she just turn over her phone? We can just look at her phone, look at Nathan Wade's phone, and figure out whether or not the two of you were, bumping uglies. Oh, you don't want to do that? You don't want to hand over your phone? Why not? This just it stinks to high heaven. And what's even more egregious, the judge knew, MCAFEE knew, if you allow her to stay on this case, it impugns the justice system itself. And if you're going to prosecute the former president of the United States, every I must be dotted, every T must be crossed, every Q must be slashed. How do you not see that as a judge?
So she is making public statements outside of the courtroom that are designed to impact the ability of these defendants to get a fair trial. So what's happened, the parties have appealed, and they have to do it's a two-step thing. They've got to get the judge who issued the order to agree to it, and as you mentioned, the Court of Appeals also has to agree to hear it. This is what we call an interlocutory appeal, a pre-trial appeal. Normally, you have to wait until after there's a conviction and then take every issue up that you think is an error, take it all up on appeal at the same time. But this issue is so important that you don't want to risk having a trial or multiple trials against all these defendants, potentially having convictions, and then have the Court of Appeals, after all is said and done, have them then say, you got it wrong. We're going to send it back for you to start over all again, and this time with a brand new prosecutor. So this
So that's the reason they're doing the appeal. They got to do it now. So what do you think a judge that is not up for re-election, a judge who looks at the evidence, a judge who says she used cash, we don't know where the cash is, he didn't know where the cash was, there were no bank records, but somehow, some way, you came to the conclusion that, well, since you didn't have that, she should be fine. Then you have all of these speeches she did in churches, where she pretty much said not only were they racist, she pronounced them guilty. Poisoning the jury pool. But then not only that, you said that even the appearance of impropriety sullies the entire judiciary. So no one would have confidence in any verdict. That's the whole point of our jurisprudence, so that people have confidence in whatever judgment comes down. And I got to tell you, man, I was like really perplexed. Like clearly, MCAFEE was trying to give her an out. That much just got to be clear. So what do you think a bunch of judges are now going to say that are removed from the political conundrum that MCAFEE found himself in? Hey, Fani, honey, you ain't out of the woods yet. She may still be disqualified. And I am hoping that even beyond being disqualified, that she will be disbarred and Nathan Wade be disbarred for lying to the court, if for nothing else. All right, that's it for now. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.